in of itself a choice that can not get punished. Often in the LCK it won't, but if you then play into a Syndra Trundle, you just get demolished. And the problem is that if Damwon Kia are in a position where their bot lane isn't losing, they're as terrifying as they always used to be. Because then all of a sudden Canyon doesn't have to babysit bot. Showmaker has the ability to go to both sides of the map, and it opens up so much more. And now you see all the outers have already fallen for Gen G. They're pushed back into their own, out of their own jungle rather. And yeah, they picked the first 2 Drakes, and they still have a lot of teamfight power available between the Azir and the Wukong. But I don't think that.
Oh, Canyon. He's still just gonna wait here. There we go. Second time's the charm. And this is the beautiful thing with having all of this extra control of the map and having 2 mid laners basically in the Syndra and the Ryze. You get 2 blue buffs, and so both of them are able to collect one. Here's Shirley. She's going to try and take the inner turret here towards the bottom side, and I think that she will just be able to get it. Yeah, just plants the skull in there, and it's all too easy for Damwon Kia. And I was going, oh, okay, BDD going to start something here as he pushes the Ryze underneath the turret and very comfortably grabs this one. Damwon still pushing here on the bottom side, wanting to get this next charge as Birdall dives forward. It's a good stun from Ghost on the disengage. There's Clid going to get himself out of here. Just going to use that possession or depossession to get that one working as everyone just dives on in, and there's Khan's Shock Blast. This is the one he prepared earlier with all of that obscene amount of gold, was able to take him down from a 3rd health.
Oh, that was patience from Damwon Kia right there. And I actually loved their bot side push. I thought it was very controlled. Their vision in the Gen G jungle was so good, which also meant that there was no opportunity for a Wukong flank, so you can actually move up that far. However, for Showmaker, he didn't have that type of control on the top side, and thus had to play a little bit more respectfully, especially with how far the rest of his team was up. So, a little bit of an individual error there, but not the end of it. And Clid just, he's like, no, they wouldn't wait, right?
Yeah.
But they did. They did, in fact, wait. Because getting greedy for the control ward,
Birdall
to the best of us, is taken
low.
low.
And this is just crazy, because the Wukong thing happened with the Jace. He got solo killed. The Jace got solo killed. Oftentimes this dictates a change in the momentum on that top side, and Damwon Kia just said no to that, as Khan has just been getting more and more farm. You can see 3,000 gold in the lead, is now cleared. In a little bit of trouble, has to ult to get himself out of there. Actually, no, had to use the flash. I often get them mixed up, and oftentimes it's the ult that comes out instead of the flash, but that was on cooldown still.
And it's due to the pace with which Damwon Kia played this game. Because it's nice if you're able to get a 1v1 lane in the lead, right? If all of a sudden the matchup switches, you hit your breakpoints and you get kill pressure. That's fine, but if the laning phase is already over, then it doesn't matter. And the laning phase at that point was done, right? Yeah. Like, Canyon visited topside maybe once or twice.
I like how you call it Canyon, because
I mean,
that's basically what it was this game.
It really was. And that again ties into how good it is for Damwon Kia to see that bot lane just have so much pressure. And it's due to the draft, and this diversity in draft from Damwon is something that for the longest time
Barrel
and moved away from. However, the poke is still good here from Gen G.
Sun connects onto life here. That's almost perma CC, and Ghost is going to pick that one up as Canyon dives in on the backside, gets a decent kick into Ruler, but he is still going to fall down. The Shock Blast not actually connecting here as Ruler still at full health. 1 for 1, but with Canyon now gone, it should be Soul Point being possible here for Gen G. There's the Moonlight Vigil though, as Barrel should be taken. No, just barely saved by the heal from Ghost. Now Damwon Kia don't want to go for it. It's basically a 3 versus 4. And that is Soul Point now for Gen G. They are down 5,000 gold, or closer to 6,000 gold at this point in the game. But still, the team fights are so powerful for Gen G with the fact that they do have a more conventional marksman on the bottom side.
They do. And I think if Canyon doesn't get over-enthusiastic there, that there will be no opportunity. And this is more of the summer Damwon Kia, where yes, they have some amazing moments, but there's still some lack of discipline that needs to be addressed. Because going in there, when you already get a kill on the Kench, is simply not necessary. It buys Gen G the opportunity to just freely walk into the river, and that in of itself means that the Soul Point is now available for them. I still hold that with the gold lead that Damwon Kia have, Gen G should not be able to, and while Mountain Soul is good. I don't know if it's enough to immediately going to bring Gen.G back into the game, but the one thing that I was skeptical recently about with Gen.G was BDD's performance. And yes, he is on his Azir, but even on Azir, we've seen him have games where he did not a lot. And this game, like his damage and his threat, the way he moves around in team is insane.
Huge.
Yeah, because his team's losing all across the map, right? And he's still 4-0. Like, that's something that I think we need to highlight. But if Damwon Kia play more respectful, use the range that they have on the Jace and the Syndra, and take it a little bit slower, still in prime control of the game.
Yeah, or maybe if they just take a free Baron, but it looks like this control ward is not going to be cleared. Showmaker eventually goes back in, but Baron's still angry. Is finally going to reset here. As we get the full zoom out to spot that all 5 members of Gen.G are in the mid lane. This is a pivotal moment, because if Gen.G can find their 5v5s, they're still terrifying. Damwon Kia's comp is not sort of built around that. It was around these mid-game picks and skirmishes that we have already seen go so well. The Gen.G, with the few kills that they have been able to pick up, certainly is it's not the end of the world just yet. It's looking dire, don't get me wrong. But I think we can still have a little bit of hope here for Gen.G, because the amount of tools that they have in a 5v5 is just ludicrous.
The one thing that's working against Gen.G, even with the nice pick or damage that he was able to find earlier, is that Ruler is so far behind. And this is great. Damwon Kia, use the control that you have to pick up, hopefully, a Baron here.
Yeah, well, it's already down extraordinarily low. Life's going to come in and get the bad news. I don't think they're going to be able to get over in time. As Clid gets slowed down, there's the Shock Blast and a free Baron for Damwon Kia. They all get into the Realm Warp as well, as Showmaker just books it out of there. He buys a ticket for all of his friends and doesn't even get on the train. Still beautifully done.
He's fine. He's Ryze. He will just, I guess, stay at the station, read a book, you know, push a wave. What
Can't get interrupted if you're not actually in there.
Ah, got him.
Really clean. As Gen.G will be able to grab this turret, but that is... Yeah, okay, Devour going to be used onto Clid there, as Bertol immediately going to get scattered out of the fight. BDD down to half. That's a great Shock Blast as Showmaker looks for BDD. Does almost find him, but now he's going to be out of the fight as Canyon's fighting Bertol, but he's got a Gore Drinker, and Bertol's in trouble. The Q lands this time, and Canyon finishes it off. Clid now extraordinarily low life. Mega dead in the river as he tried to go back to his natural habitat, but it was not safe there. As Damwon Kia will now get the counter push.
And this is the leeway that your immensely strong early game has brought to you as Damwon Kia. Yeah, you make a mistake or two in the mid game, but you still have these leads. You still have the opportunity to push so incredibly aggressively. And this ties into Gen.G feeling desperation once that Baron comes through. Because Gen.G diving there on that mid outer is a desperation move. The reason is that if it somehow works out, if Bertol gets that flank, if you blow up 1 or 2 people and you can back off, you don't get sieged upon by a terrifying Damwon Kia comp with a fed Jace, a fed Syndra.
I thought Khan was just going to insta-kill him there.
Yeah, me too. It's that type of game. He has a 500 gold bounty. He is monstrously fed.
He has a whole extra item over his lane opponent at the moment.
Yes.
Not to mention the close to 7 TCS advantage.
Indeed.
And look at that linear gold graph as well. Damwon Kia had a bit of a slow moment there from about the 18 to 24 minute mark, but now things are really starting to surge ahead. As BDD getting some poke damage onto Canyon. We have to keep our eyes on the Azir. He is so much of the Gen.G damage as Bertol, now possibly in trouble, is going to be able to press W and be okay for the moment. As Gen.G trying to get into position to steal away this Mountain Soul, possibly their only avenue back into this one, as they do pick up the aggro, as Damwon Kia still just holding on. Bertol gets in, gets out. The Cyclone is going to buy space, and that is going to be Mountain Soul. As BDD dives forward, finds 2 with the Emperor's Divide, but do they have enough damage? That's the question. They've lost so many as Gen.G. They just don't have the wallets for it. Damwon Kia wiped the floor with them, and yes, you've managed to pick up 4 dragons, but Damwon Kia, they'll take the Nexus.
Gen.G see an opportunity, give it their all, but it is not enough. Damwon Kia played the early part of the game out so well, used all the advantages that were given to them by this draft, and then, yeah, you get a couple of man in a really nice shove there, BDD, but when your item's behind, not going to win you the game.
No, beautifully played by Damwon Kia. I loved how they focused on exactly what they needed to in order to win the game. It wasn't about denying dragons, things like this. Canyon's going to have a bit of a dance, and Damwon Kia will take down the Nexus in game number 1. Really beautifully drafted and even better played.
Really nicely done. This is vintage Damwon Kia that we're seeing here. Some blemishes, you know, in the mid game, but we're not gonna. We can gloss over those if you look at how well it was set up, right? And it kind of goes back to that amount of inevitability, and also I have been a very, very big fan of the Wukong counter pick into Jace. And Damwon Kia showed today that it doesn't matter, just end the laning phase before that can ever be relevant. Easy peasy.
Yeah, and I think that like the Wukong into Jace works out very well if you have ways to ease the early game pressure. Because when Wukong is the closest thing to lane priority that you have, outside of, I guess, the Azir into the Rise, but the Azir not really going to be the most powerful in that particular aspect, like, it's just too much on the shoulders of the Wukong, and it's going to crush him, right? And we saw that that's exactly what happened.
It's a game that you see the draft and you go, well, if Damwon Kia don't play their early game, then Gen.G can freely scale, get a lot of power going. But Damwon Kia do play their early game very well. Play around the pressure that they have in every single map. Triple prio is always going to be a nightmare to play into. And while you saw some of the trademark Gen.G moments, great team fights, couple of key picks, and I think decent dragon control, everything else just went Damwon Kia's way. So that needs to be adjusted here. We can't go back to this Aphelios blind, especially now that you've seen the Syndra. Can't go back to the Azir. You need more hands-on power in the early game.
And also, that Syndra could have easily gone into the mid lane as well. Like, this was Damwon Kia with full flexibility being on full show in the draft, and we're going to see this is a game about Khan. This doesn't look like a counter matchup from here, but we saw that solo kill did come in. The Wukong did, in isolation, what he's supposed to do. I don't think that anyone's going to be coming out of this one saying that Birdol's a terrible player or anything like that. It's just that Damwon Kia played around the fact that the Wukong existed in the lane so beautifully. They put on enough pressure in order to guarantee that Khan got as many plates as he would have liked. That was 1,500 gold, ladies and gentlemen, to 0 that they managed to pick up in plate gold. This was a beautiful example of what snowballing should look like with an earlier game comp. And let's see whether Gen.G can bounce back. The no rush 20 didn't work. Let's see whether we can start playing the game from minute 1. We'll see whether they can right after the break.
봐. 아, 요거. 아니, 상황하고. 아직.
앞을 잡은 듯.
오케이. 아, 이만
아들. 끝났는데?
야, 라이즈, 라이즈. 끝났다. 이거 피 많은 사람 좀 대줄래?
끝내야 될 듯.
내가 할게요.
리신이 템 해줘.
끝난 거 같아. 우리 바로 먹고 없다, 근데.
내가 오른쪽 거부터.
내가 생각할게요, 내가.
땡해줘.
나이스.
이제
됐다. 나이스.
부지런히 쳐, 부지런히.
신의 걸리신 총 한번 갈까?
빨리.
총 오케이.
예스, 맨. 느낌 있어. 와우. 나도 예술점수 10점 갈게. 이영돌이.
죽여 놓을게 그냥.
어허, 죽여놔. 조심합시다잉. 도전할게.
파이팅!
하러 가야 돼. 더블 끊어도 돼. 나킬 잡았어? 먹어. 오케이.
나이스.
나이스. 잠깐만, 태연아 이거 진짜 또 삭갈 거거든? 들었니, 태연아?
진짜 뭐라고?
진짜 또 삭갈 거라고.
잡았다 이거.
태연 있나 보다. 태연아 너 빼봐. 아래로 와. 나 더블이 실패. 나이스.
오케이 잡았다. 끝났어.
무슨 일이야? 내가 바람니까 생각하자. 내가 핑할게. 보인다? 걸렸고? 풀다가.
저기 가네.
맞다.
아직은 노공인데 사태 어때 보여?
야, 공기다. 일단 봐야 돼.
비거 노공.
아직 노공, 아직 노공.
나 킬사초. 한마디 더 비거 노공이야. 봐줄게.
아직 공
비거
있어?
파이팅.
아직 노공.
아직 노공이야.
나 이거 들어갈게, 나
비거
들어갈게.
노공이야. 태연아, 비거 노공.
오케이.
비거 봐줄게.
싸우 높여.
아, 2초.
야, 직스.
빨리 봐줘.
대혁이 봐. 좋아. 바텀 가면 된다. 아, 끝났다. 타워.
오케이 사업 밀게.
10점.
와,
야,
나-
잠깐만.
나 킬러.
나이스. 다행이다.
빡세긴 하다.
캐리!
뭔 개냐?
이러면 오른각 좋은 거네.
오른이든?
오른 되게 좋아 보이는데.
오른 너무 좋은데?
야 오른보다 더 좋은 게 생각이 안 나는데 그냥.
잘해보자.
오케이, 잘해보자. 파이팅!
오케이.
오케이. 이거보다.
야 볼게 살짝.
랭구풀. 노플이야. 여기 길목 막을게.
할리고. 야 봐봐. 다 잡아.
나이스, 좋아.
나 절대 안 죽을 것 같은데? 가자.
앞라인부터.
야, 앞라인부터 쳐봐.
칼리 정받았고 칼리 레오나 랭구풀.
야, 빨면서.
단우풀. 풀었어. 칼리. 칼리 노플. 와, 다행이다.
끝날 수 있냐?
너밖에 없어.
뭐야, 다 죽었어?
너무 흥분했네.
야, 근데 이런 거 나오는 거 그냥 걸면 안 되냐?
돼. 가자. 나 트레일 있어.
볼게. 야, 앞에 지키면서 볼래?
레오나.
우리.
노플.
나이스! 끝내.
아니, 드디어 이겨보나?
이게 나이트가 아닌데?
아니야, 이겼으면 나이스지.
그러면 못 가고 고춧가루나 뿌려보자고 이제.
다행이다.
왕자의 게임이다. 왕자의 게임. 왕자를 탈환하자고 우리가.
예.
얘들아, 기죽지 마. 맨날
파이팅!
처음이야.
파이팅!
하나, 둘, 셋. 명팀 파이팅!
가도 돼. 지금 풀 있어.
가자.
나이스.
아, 괜찮아. 오,
잡았다. 바탕 가자. 마누라. 노텔의 턴이라.
야, 택시 떴는데? 한 번만 보면 안 돼?
노플이야 일단 사일 노플이야.
야, 해봐. 써가. 그냥 해봐. 진짜 해봐.
일을 썼구나.
얘 먹으려 하는데 나 스틸각 볼게.
와서 하나 여기 탈.
럼블 잘 걸렸다. 럼블 죽었어.
먹었어. 이거 지금.
나
이제 왔어.
루시안 잡으러 가. 루시안 갈게. 루시안 노플.
거기 뒤에 다 있다.
끝.
이제
루시안
사이드 먹어야 돼.
가비.
해야 되는 거긴 했어 이거.
야 빨리 이거 깔아봐. 야 싸매.
싸움다리.
싸움 해봐. 싸이 위로 돌았어 얘들아. 나이스. 동네 레드 따라. 사일러브. 빼봐 얘들 빼봐. 어머니 나이스. 트랙에 레드 따라.
샤이 잘 먹었다 야.
내가 뺏었어 상원.
야 먹었어 얘들아. 칭찬 좀 해줘.
장난 싸움으로 가요.
아 쓰가
너 보여줄 봐봐.
야 가야돼. 제가 먹히면 빼.
다시 살려.
바텀
아 근데 이거 아래로 올 줄 몰랐네.
들어갈게.
나온다. 야 넥스. 잘했다 얘들아.
나이스.
잘했고.
야 장르 잘 뺏었다.
공을 스틸의 신이다 오늘. 잘했다.
Hello and welcome back to the LCK Analyst Desk. This is your host Sumi, joined by Midori and Kuro. This is Jason with the translation. Genji and Tom Kia are opening up Sunday here in the LCK Summer. Now it is all about getting the round 2 bye of the playoffs. Yet Trundle going down to the bottom lane. Syndra, as everyone mentioned, bot Syndra bot has been pretty common in other regions already. So this was something predictable, but still pretty unsure to kind of tell whether Tamankia is really going to take that action. I don't really think that Syndra Trundle bottom deal was the key to Tamankia's success. I want to take a look at Genji's pick first. They blind picked Aphelios and Tompkins. I think they had the confidence that without Varus, without Ziggs, without Kalista, well, we can just win lane with Aphelios Tompkins. But they actually didn't think of the potential kind of pocket pick from Tamankia, Syndra rotating down to the bottom lane. I want to say this was more about the overflowing confidence from Genji's bottom duo, or rather Genji as a whole. I don't really see a huge problem with the picks from Genji. Their bot, their mid, their jungle, their top was okay, but I'm not sure about the Tompkins because Life is a premier Thresh player. I don't know why they skipped Thresh and decided to just lock in Tompkins so early. Tompkins, Aphelios together are pretty strong in lane, but compared to Thresh, Tompkins doesn't really have a lot of tools to protect his AD carry prior to level 6. So with a bit of a slight adjustment on their bottom duo pick, I think Genji could have had a lot better game in game number 1, whereas Tom and Kia, with some pocket pick and strategy, they were able to get a very convincing victory. Now let's take a look at the first highlight where everything started to fall apart for the side of Tom and Kia. So there was a ward in Genji's Rapture camp, and then its vision goes down because of the control ward in the rush. So this has become a clue of Viego's location. So based on that assumption and also the bottom lane's priority, Kenyan invades to the opponent's blue camp. It was not only for the counter jungle but also for a potential turret dive. But the reaction from Genji wasn't really enough, which means this is a free turret dive for Tamon Kia. They knew Viego is on the top side of the map, and Aphelios had no flash, Tompkins didn't have his ult yet. Tamon Kia's bottom duo already shoved in the wave. they did manage to trade a kill with Trundle, but it was this bottom, the AD carry and support trade, which is something that Tamakia will take all day. And Bertle did get a solo kill on the top lane, but Showmaker also was able to use his teleport on the top lane and traded kills. It was a solo laner's traded kills, so that wasn't even trade, but AD carry and support trade is something different. Tamakia was able to pull off a great macro with the Baron buff, so Genji looked to make a trade around the mountain ring. I think Genji could have just took the dragon and then backed away, so Azir looked for a super delivery streamer shuffle. This attempt failed, but Tompkins just burned his flesh. I guess he was perhaps trying to devour Azir, but he was golden already. You cannot really devour a player who's activated his Zonias. The best option for Genji was just taking the objective and backing off. But they were a little bit too over-eager and they were looking to open a team fight in a bad position. And also because Tompkins flashed in and couldn't devour his mid laner, Aphelios didn't have any peel and protection. And this was a very easy team fight for Tamakia to take. And the player of the game, Reveal, is here. It's gonna be Kenyon on Lee Sin. This player is so good at Lee Sin. He's the only jungler with 9 PUGs in the split. It's mostly a top laner or mid laner, but Kenyon will be joining the 900 club here in the LCK Summer. There was a moment where Kenyon picked up a kill onto Ruler, but he was trying to ward as well. In the very last team fight, he was able to find the right target, Ruler, the Aphelios on the side of Genji. He knows how to gank lane, he knows how to play team fight on Lee Sin. And Kenya will be a tied second place on the POG standings here. Tied with Chovy and the only jungler on the board. Tamakia is definitely a team that knows how to play with Kenyon. He has a great mechanics and Tamakia knows how to kind of utilize this power and find the chemistry. Kenyon picked up 7 votes out of 12 and a lot of votes went over to Con as well. Today's match result will affect the round 2 buy contention a lot, so let's see whether Genji will stick to their strategy and get back to game number 2.
Thank you so much, Ji-sun, for the analyst desk translation. I think it's quite interesting that Canyon managed to pick that one up. I think he missed a few cues during the game, but his positioning and control of that early game really was on his shoulders and really was demonstrated very, very well. So congratulations, moves up to 900 points, which means that if he's actually able to get back-to-backs this series, he will be able to equalize with Gory there on 1,000 points. Bertle is out, unfortunately, and Rascal will be coming in a more level head, perhaps. Certainly a lot of speculation can go into as to why these players are subbed around. Genji will also choose to head back towards red side once again, so we'll have to see what is actually going to be the changes when it comes to the draft. But I think we need to talk about Bertle being subbed out, because I don't think he was bad at all in the last game. I think that it had a lot more to do with the state of the game and how the draft really worked.
I agree.
think his Wukong was fine.
You made a really good point I haven't even considered, because my read on it was while Bertle I think is an incredible player with a lot of promise, Rascal is also still a top-tier top laner in the LCK, incredibly stable, and might have been able to deal with some of the pressure in the game a little bit, but you pointed out can also be just making sure that like Bertle can actually handle the pressure, right? Like he's a 17-year-old kid, he's been thrown into what is a match against the reigning world champions. So I think subbing him out in an attempt to get Rascal in there with a fresh and optimistic outlook is gonna be nice. However, I need to see adjustments from Genji in the draft, because I think that it was not often that we see a draft and then see it just be played out exactly as we expect from start to finish.
Yeah.
And if you see that game number 1 is Genji and your call is we're going to try it again, then I don't know.
Yeah, I think that yeah, there are some drafts where you're like, we made enough mistakes for us to be able to run it back and do better this time, but I think that the draft really did put them in a very precarious position, and a position that Damwon Kia could pretty comfortably capitalize on.
Yeah.
And we saw that done beautifully. And we're going to see Damwon continue with exactly the same bans from the last time, and I think that you can ban the same champions here, but I don't think picking Aphelios Tahm Kench is going to be the first cab off the rank. I just don't think that that is the priority that you want.
And the I like that. Yeah, because the flex potential, like, especially now that they've shown that, it's like, just get rid of it. Just don't bother. And now you can pick up the LeBlanc, and then the Syndra counter pick is not available to your opponents. So that is something that you'll feel relatively happy about if BDD wants to go into that direction. And it would also tie into something that I want to see, and that is more agency for Gen G. With Rascal in, I expect that to come to fruition no matter what, even with his Renekton being banned out. Or I would also be fine if Rascal gets put onto Ornn, and then the rest of the map has more. At least there needs to be something to play for in the early game. And Trundle pick would make that a lot easier. Again, limiting some of the flexing that is available to Damwon Kia that they made such great use of, and can be played by both Clid and Life. Clid gonna have a lot of power in that 1v1 against the Lee Sin, especially in the early levels, and then Trundle in of itself has just been a incredible pick thus far if you look at the win rate, and the fact that he's flexible kind of adds to that, right? You can just tailor it to your draft. As the Varus gets picked up here for Ruler again, has had okay performances on this, but
also denies it from Ghost as well, who has been defaulting to Varus more often than not. Damwon Kia can actually take a completely different route here if they want to, but they're not going to. LeBlanc is going to be locked away here as we expected.
Yeah,
I thought that they could potentially go for the Aphelios Thresh if they wanted to, but not going to be an option anymore, as I would expect just Jace.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
No, I agree. I think so as well. This is the downside, and the reason why I wasn't that enthusiastic about that Varus, as okay, that will be a different direction, but incredible amount of comfort for Ghost, and a laner that you can both play through and just kind of leave on its own.
Wow, we're doing it again.
And I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but honestly, after that last game, BDD's Azir was like the least of the problems in that game. He actually had prio, right? Like he had a measurable impact in the game, and I expect him to do something similar here up until the point where LeBlanc gets some levels and actually get some kill threat. Then you're gonna be a bit more respectful, especially early on. I think BDD will play that matchup fine, and now with the Varus already locked in and a counter pick available for Rascal, I expect Gen G to have at least more prio than they did before, which makes the pick of the Azir a little bit less egregious. When it comes to straight up skirmishing and 2v2 power though, like, picking up Varus is nice, but getting over Lee Sin, LeBlanc to your opponents, it's been such a strong combo for so long. The mobility, the kill threat, the mixed damage, it's such a nightmare to deal with.
The Canyon Showmaker, which I think is the biggest thing. You leave the nameplates on and it's even more terrifying. I like the Braum Band, denying the Freljordian nature of the bottom side of the map. And Beryl is going to have to dig a little bit deeper for the lane partner of the Ashe.
You know what that means, right?
What does that mean?
That means on for Rascal!
Well,
I'm not kidding.
We'll see. Actually, yeah, you're right. Braum often does dictate an on
Jesus, bad
idea. I don't know about it though with Varus in the bottom lane, but could get a little bit of added priority. But against Ashe, Ashe does hold her own quite effectively. Could be a Xin Zhao still, because I actually quite like Trundle Varus as a bottom lane duo. Having not seen too much, as the Xin will actually be locked in. Mundo was the final ban, which is interesting, as that's a Thresh for Beryl. That could be an option that you could go for, as now it is going to be Trundle guaranteed into that lane, unless we want to play Trundle top, which could be a thing.
Watch it happen. I have not been the biggest fan of Tahm Kench support. I think the champion is
especially
fine.
not into Trundle, right? We saw it not go super well last time.
I think the champion is fine as a top laner. I think picking him as a support just takes away a lot of the power that he can otherwise have, as you can still go for the Ornn into this. If you want to punish, you can put Rascal on something like the Camille, which of course does have a lot more pressure in terms of 1v1, but that was Somewhat similar to a problem that we saw earlier, like that. It's nice if you have 1v1 pressure, but you actually need to be able to play around it, as this is a throwback lane Viego coming out here.
I believe we saw Rich play it on this patch.
Yeah, we did.
They lost that series, just FYI. I don't think he is as powerful by any stretch, but could also still theoretically be jungle Viego. You know, yeah. We've got all sorts of crazy things that could potentially happen. Zim support.
Oh yeah.
Trundle top, Viego jungle.
You have a knock-up.
Yeah, there we go.
Something.
Perfect. Get in there.
Flawless.
I've always liked Zin's out Pantheon as a bottom lane. However, probably doesn't work in pro play.
I'd say it wouldn't, no.
Yeah, not exactly the greatest. Is fun cheese to use in normal games, though.
You know what the best cheese is?
What's that?
Poppy Vega.
Poppy Fago is very, very good.
That's bad.
Poppy Anivia is my personal favorite.
Oh, I like that one as well.
The fact that that was actually utilized in, I believe, was it MSI 2015?
I don't remember Atlas.
Might have been. Albus Nox Luna brought that one out. Absolutely fantastic stuff, but that was 7 years ago, so, sorry, 6 years ago. So not exactly super relevant as to the games right now. It is once again, a pretty solid draft to come through from Damwon Kia. Who are you giving it to as far as who managed to win out?
That's a hard one. It's really dependent on the play. If Kled actually does find early game impacts, if he's able to either get Ruler or Rascal ahead, and they can find some early skirmishes more centered around that Viego pick and the power that he has, I think that Genji definitely has an opportunity. I'd still say this is a 60-40 for Damwon. I think that that combination of the Lee and the LeBlanc is just going to be so hard to play into come mid-game. But it's not as egregious as last game, where we in draft already identified that Genji was basically at the mercy of Damwon Kia, and then Damwon Kia had no mercy at all.
Yeah.
So in this case, Genji actually does have a lot of agency, right? You can play for your top lane, you can play for your bottom lane. Mid lane is going to be really hard. Like even post 6, you don't really have the reliable lockdown to get a LeBlanc and actually pin her down and take her out. So that's not the greatest of places to be in. BD also gone for the electrocute, as our resident Azir player also loves to switch it up. Last game, of course, we got the Ludens and the Demonic Embrace in terms of build, and I'm sure this game he will find something else.
Yeah, we'll see exactly what he does decide to go for.
A lot of Halo blading.
Yeah, we are hailing the blades. In fact, very mirrored as far as our rune choices are concerned. Just Khan with his grasp going to be changing it up. Like it a lot. Here, having a look at the rune choices between our two bottom laners, I believe this is actually mirrored from our first game, as both of our supports did go towards the Hail of Blades on the Tahm Kench and on the Trundle. As Ghost and Beryl already putting on a bit of pressure here, trying to get Life and Ruler out of the lane. Life, of course, able to soak a lot of harassment if he can hang out around a minion wave, but if he gets pushed underneath his turret immediately, it does become a little bit more difficult, and you can see that Damwon Kia already putting the screws in here on the bottom side. 2-0 on the Ashe for Ghost, having a pretty good performance thus far. Already getting these volleys to really get the work done, but standing by himself a little bit here, does need to respect just a little bit as the tongue lash is going to go wide. But Damwon Kia will have this level 2 advantage very, very shortly, and Genji have missed out on basically 50% of the experience from these minions thus far.
And the big difference here is that in the previous matchup, we saw that it was a Syndra against an Aphelios, which is a matchup that makes you very happy if you're the Syndra. Ashe into Varus can go either way, but the Tahm Kench early game power can actually be leveraged now, unlike in that other matchup.
Yeah.
Meaning that you're going to have a situation in which, as Rune of Life, you can't really walk up as Canyon. That's a very early visit, but I do like that's a huge wave that's about to be crashed into the turret here.
Yeah, and if they can even do a bit of zoning, it's going to put Ruler and Life so extraordinarily far behind, and it means that Ashe can do what she's supposed to, right? Which is put on all of that extra pressure with the volley, forcing out your opposition, but you need to get into a position to do that. As in goes Canyon now. They're looking to set up for this one as Life is going to get taken down extraordinarily quickly. There it is. Beryl's even going to survive as they're looking for Ruler. as Ghost, just out of turret range, is able to get it. And yep, goodbye, Ruler. That's the double. And Damwon Kia off to a phenomenal start once again.
Just breathtaking player from Damwon Kia, taking a level 1 lead and then finding such a beautiful way to capitalize on it. That is an entire wave into the turret. That is immediately a plate picks up this early. And if Canyon also gets away with the skull, that'll be
Yeah, he does.
just gorgeous. Yep, that is everything going wrong there. And it all ties into these early levels. And it is incredible to me that a Damwon Kia that has had a truly floundering bot lane for the largest part of summer has clearly reverted back to more olden ways.
They were just charging up, you know, spending a bit of time doing other things, you could say. As we all know, Beryl does like to do. But now it feels like we are certainly approaching the business end of the Damwon year. And this is the stage of the season that they are very, very good at. As we're going to have a look at it one more time.
And there are, of course, teleports available, but teleporting this early on in your lane means that you're going to give up such an incredible amount, right? Like, you're going to be forced to then, even if it does work out, which isn't a given at all, especially if it will be, say, PDD who teleports in, then going to be stuck, going to give up plates, and it is just Damwon Kia, like a double this early on. Ghost was sitting on a noon quiver already.
Oh, flash from BDD. Like the respect given, but that is still a free summon spell for Canyon. Very nicely done. Canyon once again just everywhere. Is he 1,000 points now? Are we gonna have to vote for another Canyon MVP?
He's at 900, right? So
Yeah.
he could hit it.
Is Canyon allowed to be like MVP 3 seasons in a row? I don't know whether that's legal. Do we have a rule? Because I know Wolf was talking about rules that we don't necessarily advertise all that often when
Maybe?
we were approaching 2,000 assists for effort, I believe, yesterday. Showmaker going to get taken down relatively low. Does have his flash available, but does want to be a little bit careful here. His thing's still pretty even in the mid lane.
Oh, this feels so bad for Ruler and Life as falling this fine, this early, this far behind, this early on is gonna make it so hard for you to really find a way back. And whereas Canyon's ganks in both of these games have just consistently hit the mark, there's been some even trades, but there has never been bad trades. Clit has just been unable to find an impact, and he definitely has the champion for it, right? Like Xin Zhao has incredible ganking power, his early skirmishing and his early dueling is amazing, but it's just not really coming together for Gen G, and they need to gonna start and find some plays that actually work out. And I think they might look for a punish here. I do see some pings going down, but they don't have any actual vision of this right now.
Well, Clit gonna dive immediately onto Ghost, who does have his flash available. Heals there as well, Abyssal Dive. Comes on through the volley to buy some space as Canyon just gonna focus on this dragon. They had mid-priority as well, as you can see. Teleport to come through from Rascal, trying to get down here. Empress Divide avoided with the distortion. Pretty clear that Showmaker was going to do that. BDD still trying to go for it as Rascal misses everything and Showmaker just walks it out.
Oh, and that's even worse because now Rascal commits a teleport. You don't get a dragon, you don't get any kills. It's a clean escape for Damwon Kia. You are going to miss a couple of minions on the top side, which is going to make... Rascal's fine.
Yeah,
he's able to pick it up.
It's still going to be a plate for Khan, but...
And a TP advantage, which we don't love, Atlas. If you're a Gen G fan, if you're a Damwon Kia fan, you're like, they're back. This is amazing. I'm loving this.
Yeah. Hey, now they got Ghost's heal and flash.
Yeah, they did. But that's not that much if you consider the state of the game. But I like that.
It was like I was looking for the silver lining, but it was pretty great.
For what I'm always the one looking for silver linings. So this is an exciting swap of roles for me.
I'm looking to turn over a new leaf.
As just doesn't work out, right? Committing your Emperor's Divide, you know that's a long shot. Especially with Showmaker having his cooldowns available. You'll lose out on the Drake, and it's not like giving up the Drake in of itself is not the biggest issue. but it's more about you expending more resources in an attempt to try and get something from Damwon Kia, who've just been taking things from you for the last 40 minutes, previous game included as well. This is a big committal coming through. Everyone from Gen G rotating.
Yeah, they're going to be met by everyone on Damwon Kia as well, but they have to deal with this mid lane as Shelly taking a bit of damage here. She will reset, and Gen G not willing to take this one. It's already a 2.3k gold lead. Gen G already very far behind in this game. And if you put it in the context of 9 minutes, it's a ludicrous lead for Damwon. So that's why you can see Gen G playing with so much respect. As Khan wanting to get a bit of a gnar into the wall there, but Rascal slinks into the mist and he's going to be fine.
We're just going to give up bot lane. And mid lane, who cares?
Yeah,
we're going to keep
we're not hanging out there.
fighting.
That's not what it's about.
We're not about that CS. We're about fighting in the most grueling way possible. Do see some things going down now, and as Gen G, hard committing this much is definitely a possibility.
Oh, big wave stacking on Gen G's side as that's a huge chunk onto life.
Nope, still no one being sent down. Not gonna collect that wave. So I guess this is...
It's just piling up and piling up. It's going to be Damwon Kia that do need to answer if they do want to collect the money. As you can see, it's just continuing to stack on their side as Ghost is going to go down there. He's like, it's too much money! I must pick this up!
But this is just the worst feeling because Ruler is also rotating towards bot. I might get a play. Guess he can shove the wave in and get a bounce, but it's
still just going to be free herald taken by Just Canyon alone. Ruler will meet the wave here, as a lot of those minions did die on both sides. But it's not going to be the obscene CS numbers that we've seen from some of our 80 carries here in the LCK. As Beryl going to have to walk around the Pillar of Filth for a moment.
It's not a good look, expanding this many resources, or rather not taking advantage of the resources that are on the map to hard commit to another play on top side. First time it was the Dragon, this time it is the Rift Herald, and then have it not work out. And I gotta give credit to Damwon Kia, how they are completely comfortable with letting that situation breathe, right? Just sitting there like, we can just bully you away. We're not afraid at all. We're happy to commit. We have a big gold lead already. They played really nicely around Khan as well. You saw the first time that they really tried and pushed forward. Khan was sitting on like 80% of his Mega Knot form. Now the shield bow is done for Ghost, and that's gonna mitigate so much the pressure that Ruler has available.
Ghost has a 40 CS advantage. A lot of that had to do with the fact that Ghost picked up CS in the mid lane when BDD had already cleared that one out. So there is just CS being moved around because that bottom lane was left idle for so long. So you can't really say that it's bad farming for the most part. However, it still is going to be a big advantage for Ghost, and he still won the lane pretty considerably. It just wasn't necessarily that 40 CS much.
And especially for Lethality Varus, being
Ghost Canyon looks for clear here. Showmaker getting chunked by this Azir. He's doing some good work. Does now have his Merc Treads, which allows him to be a little bit more aggressive. Is now Khan going to have to deal with Rascal. Stunned up a little bit, trying to kite this one out, and Hyper is going to help there as the Q is going to miss. And Khan is going to continue putting on the pressure. Checking in on Canyon once again. He's a few camps in the lead. Let's see what Khan's going to be able to do. Hop now on cooldown. He's trying to contend the flash to get himself out of the way of the Heartbreaker. As Canyon goes in the mid lane, that's the kick. Immediately he's followed as BDD is going to throw this one back. Great knock-up as Canyon moves himself out of the way. That is going to be the solo kill from the Viego, though, as now Beryl trying to get in there, but I don't think he's going to be able to get anything done as Ruler and Life looking for Showmaker, and Gen G managing to strike back.
And it's the king of solo kills. He's been subbed back in, and he finds one immediately. Rascal coming up big hit for Gen G. Because while that mid lane play is nice, the reason why Gen G, or Damwon Kia rather, can't actually hard commit there and maybe try and use the gold lead that they have on their other champions is because Rascal just has the knowledge, more than so than almost any other player in the LCK, of how his limits work, right? Like how much can he push? Does he win an all-in? Yes or no? There's a reason why this man is just leading.
The Mega Knot was so close, but not close enough.
Rascal knew, I'm sure.
He did?
He actually does, right? It's how he gets so many of these. And then this is a nice skirmish.
Arrow was so close, actually.
Would have been so big. But Barrel coming in, and then, yeah, Rascal is on his way. And this is not enough for Gen G, but it is a moment that allows them to at least feel a semblance of control of this game. But then you look at the actual state, and yeah, they got an Ocean Drake and a solo kill. That's nice, but they are still behind 3k gold. The gold leads are immeasurable. Ruler legit can't lane. 2 levels behind Ghost. Life is a level behind Barrel. And Ghost and Barrel, you know, they set it up. They were incredibly dominant in the first 2-3 levels. And then Canyon just said, hello, I am here. This is my Lee Sin. Goodbye. Yep. And then the bot lane was over for the rest of the game, basically. So now as Gen G, you're looking desperately for other avenues. And it's going to be BDD and Rascal. But Khan, just by the virtue of his team doing a lot, is still gold lead.
Yeah, let's see whether Rascal's going to be able to pick up yet another one as it's kiting out from Khan. It's going to be able to get him to an okay position. Showmaker rotating up. Rascal's going to be able to slink into the mist, and he'll be absolutely fine. You can see once again, Damwon Kia walking away with 1,300 gold worth of plates, which is why they have such a considerable gold lead. And Gen G just not really interested in damaging structures, as it turns out this game.
And Rascal.
All right, Rascal
in.
might be able to get something done here. As that's a big old nah. The wallop's fantastic as well, as Canyon will finish that one off very comfortably. And also, they have the wave prepped as they crash towards this turret at the same time. And Khan might even be able to grab this one as well. Yeah, it's Cannon Wave very, very comfortably able to lock this one down. And Canyon's going to start the counter jungle as well, as that's a big ultimate. But once again, Shomik is able to distort his way out.
And it ties into what we're saying about the Long earlier. Today, yeah, you can damage her, but like she's so slippery. Azir and even Clit coming in there at the tail end of that, they just don't have the available CC to make sure she doesn't get away. They can win the all-in, they can get the damage on her, they can like zone her off, but actually killing her requires Showmaker to mess up immensely, which generally not really something Showmaker does. Definitely not when the state of the game as it is right now. Rascal also top laning to the wave on top side there, if I'm not mistaken. Need to see the replay to see that actually the case, but just gets punished so well by Damwon Kia, because Rascal felt like one of the possible avenues for Gen G to at least maintain a little bit of control. But now that lane is put horribly behind. Bot lane we haven't spoken about, and we shouldn't, because it's still the same depressing old story. And then BDD, he's trying so hard. And it's like the Azir, it's working out as well as it possibly can, but it's not enough.
Yeah, and everything's sort of collapsing around him once again. And they want to be able to get towards some of these team fights that could work. And yes, they do have pretty amazing tools for making that happen. I mean, Emperor's Divide Pillar is a phenomenal combo to be able to stop people from walking out of the way of the wall of soldiers. Still, Damwon Kia are once again, they're in their investment phase, right? They're able to take down outer turrets, bot lane and top lane, and really extend this lead as we're going to watch Khan get this mid-air ultimate.
Yeah, that's the lane to be. I like the attempt, Rascal trying to kind of kite back and maybe get away from that non-ultimate, but that's too much damage. There's too much to see available. No way you're ever getting out of there if Damwon Kia play it well. And Gen G, you've hit your one-item power spikes. Find a 5-man flip from BDD. Rascal gets a couple of resets, and that is basically it in terms of how you can find a way back into this game, because the gold lead, item leads to Damwon Kia are so hard to deal with.
Oh, Ghost has that arrow available. Not a lot of follow-up opportunity though, as Canyon's going to miss that Q, as we can see. Shirley is going to just slink back into a hit, and she'll be absolutely fine for now. As Damwon Kia just want to grab the last remaining outer turret for them, as this one is very close to falling. BDD looking to try and collect himself a Rift Scuttler. Bit going to come down and also do the same. As okay, Rascal going to find Khan with a bit of a stun there, but Ghost able to help him with some potential kiting, as Canyon will be able to take Shirley in the end.
And the key thing here is that Gen G's constantly trying to react to what Damwon Kia's doing. But Damwon Kia's control around the entirety of the map is so good.
Barrel could be in trouble though, gets taken down a half, gonna eat that grey health. As Subjugate is on him. There's the Heartbreaker as Rascal diving on forward. He's now a Tom Kench and just explodes. Showmaker looking for some more damage. But Rascal does make it to relative safety. Showmaker diving in once again, immediately having to get out. Knew that that was how things were going to have to go, though. As you can see, Damwon still looking for potentially more. It's only Beryl that they've lost for the moment, and this turret is on half a health bar, or half a health point, is what I more meant. Yeah, very close to dying there. They will be able to trade Beryl's life for the outer turret in the mid lane.
It's a nice execution by Rascal. The unfortunate reality of the situation is, as I was getting to earlier, when I was beautifully interrupted by that play from the Viego, is that they just don't relent. Like, Damwon Kia has so much control of the map, and they are very similar to always see T1, where they keep pushing, and Gen G, they can't keep up.
Yeah. Well, now they're going to look for this, as they are going to secure the Drake. So that is going to be the second Dragon for Gen G. First Mountain Drake of the game as well, but can they escape from the area is the question. Showmaker bides his time, looks for BDD as he pops back over the wall once again. Clid gonna get stunned up as Rascal looks for the snare but doesn't find it. Onto Showmaker, arrow not going to connect as Gen G do walk on out of the way. Bit of a field goal, but it was good observation there from Gen G to avoid it.
This is feeling so similar to game number 1, where, yeah, you get the Drake, that's nice, but you're gonna miss out on the ton of minions. Damwon Kia is gonna shove in again, and both Damwon Kia and T1, T1 have done it all split, and then previously kind of crumbled after the first 15 minutes, and now look a lot better there. And Damwon Kia, this split so far, I'd say, haven't really looked this dominant in the early game consistently like they're looking in this series, right? And it's just always playing to your priority, actually setting up dives, and Khan!
That's big old iron to the wall, only lands onto Rascal as Clid has the Crescent Guard, but doesn't have his life anymore as the Mimic Distortion comes in. Showmaker is going to connect the chain and now has to flash out of the way of Ruler Chains of Corruption, not long enough, unfortunately. And now Rascal on life, below half health. They're going to have to contend with Damwon Kia. Shirley is so angry. She's going to get a charge onto an inhibitor here at 20 minutes into the game. And to quote my friend Froster, that one is the Baron inhibitor as well, as it's 20 minutes in. So not quite as relevant because it is a very early stage of the game to be going for a Baron, but Damwon might have a big enough lead that they're happy to do so, as we're going to go well and truly back in time for this pick onto Beryl.
I didn't actually think Rascal would be able to get the execute there, so that's super nicely done. But then he immediately needs to use everything. Heal gets thrown in as well. And the health boss and mana boss are still so low that they can't actually contest. And this is a consistent problem. The Gen G also getting engaged on him, and BP has no plans whatsoever of joining this, which that's fine. If you want to put BBB in the side lane, you want him to get more fed, you want him to shove for a turret, that's okay. But then the rest of Gen G can't stick around that turret, especially now with Shelly available. And Damwon Kia, they read that, they see the Azir in the sideline, they're like, well, this is a freebie, go in with everyone, pick up a free kill on the Xin Zhao, and the gold lanes, they just keep growing. And the reason why it's so similar to the previous game is that, yeah, Gen G, they get in little moments left and right, they picked up a couple of kills, they've been able to pick themselves up a Drake or two, but I think when we look at the turret score over the course of this series, like, what is it going to be like?
Another free Baron?
Yeah, no, they can't walk up.
Yeah.
You can't walk into the fog. You die.
They have this cute little ward here that's giving him a fair bit of information as the Baron just below half health. Clid going to get into position as control ward does come through. It might be a flip as we do have a teleport to come on forward. Damwon Kia are just going to back away. They'll take the teleport and they'll move on out. Should be able to clear vision now as well. So a theoretical advantage here for Damwon, and they've got super creeps on the bottom side of the map. That means that CS on Damwon's side that they could be getting money from is dying. So making plays around this Baron, very, very important to make getting that inhibitor relevant, right? And they are going to be able to do so, so it's still going to be absolutely the right call.
Pressure here again. Turret from Damwon is amazing. Can also look into a collapse on the top side turret if they choose to do so. But if Gen G just is forced to walk into them,
they have one teleport remaining, so Azir could turn up. It's a great pillar, but no actual engage or anything like that as Canyon
a lot of damage.
tanking up the Baron, as we can see. Ghost from over the side. Going to be joined now by Khan to add his damage to the mix. Azir still pushing, and Ruler almost just gets burnt down in one rotation. The arrow will connect onto the Trundle, but not be enough damage to take down Ruler with the extra splash that did come through there. The piercing arrow not going to land. The Baron down to very low health as the kick out immediately onto Clid. The secure of the Baron, and someone here now trying to win the team fight as well. Azir has made it, but he's just still too far away. Rascal diving on forward though, that's the double now. Ghost is also going to be taken down, and now Damwon needs to save as many Barons as possible.
That's a super sub right there, baby. Rascal picks up a triple kill on the Viego, gets that massive fight that the champion loves. And while the pickup is there and Showmaker and Barrel still gonna have that Baron buff available, in the end, as Gen G, it means that the game, at least for now, is not yet over. The real question is, can they pick up the Drake as well? Because a Mountain Soul in this game, I think, would serve them a lot better than it did in the previous one.
BDD needs to be very careful though, as the chain is not going to arm. Showmaker had to get out a little bit sooner. Emperor's Divide still available for BDD, which is important for the dragon fight that you are talking about. Canyon now running from base. Damwon Kia should be able to get that dragon set up, as that's a good stun once again from Showmaker. Piercing arrow going to go wide once more from Ruler as well.
Oh, you see the fear and respect as well. Like, look at how far BDD walks back there just to try and get it back through. Doesn't have to teleport, right? Like, if you want to have a chance of contesting this dragon, you need to teleport really. He knows Showmaker is on the map hunting on this LeBlanc. He's 0-0-0, but it still feels like he's hiding in every single brush, right? The amount of pressure that he's providing for the rest of his team is still fine, and due to Baron buff being available, yeah, it's a negative Baron power play. That's not what you want ideally.
No.
But it is still not enough, and I was loving the response here that we saw from that Kia, and that they were
mega
able
kick into the immediate nod to get this Xin Zhao out of the pit.
Yeah, but that was actually too much invested.
Yeah, right.
I think the kick was fine, but then the Mega Gnar as well is an over-investment of resources. And then Rascal just pops up. We also see some miscommunication there, because it is actually an early Devour that comes through from Barrel. It's like, guys, here, I have Viego, let's kill him before he can reset. And then Rascal comes out of the Devour and gets 3 resets. So that's not what you're looking for. It's off defensive for Gen G.
Yeah, we're looking for some poke here, as we can see. Rascal getting a lot of respect as he does put down that mist. But now, Damwon Kia, once it dissipates, that's their opportunity to move forward. Ghost still sitting on the arrow as Canyon looking for the wide wraparound. BDD off to the side. Q once again going to go wide as Khan having to deal with the Pillar of Filth as well. Technically Pillar of Ice, but that's the traditional Trundle skin, so we have to go back to the original name as Canyon. Just going to get poked out with the Wind Becomes Lightning, but Damwon Kia have now ran out of minion wave. 14 seconds left on this Baron buff as Showmaker goes down to half health. Q connects onto Clid as in goes Canyon, but immediately he gets Crescent guarded away from it as in goes Khan. Now looking for his opportunity, but no, Damwon Kia just going to settle for this inner turret and just back away.
And it's the last couple of the fall there for the Baron buff, you know, it's autumn, the leaves are falling, you pick up a final turret and you call it a day, go home, make some hot cocoa, and Damwon Kia now a 4k gold lead. As we said, not the greatest Baron power play. You give up a couple of people initially, which is always going to hurt you, but still in control of the game. Got rid of another turret. You're able to pick up the Drake, deny the soul point for Gen G. Again, very similar to game number 1 in the way that Damwon Kia, even though some moments that you can go over afterwards and hey, we need to clean up a little bit. This point, as a whole, their grasp of the game feels much more akin to what we used to see from this team. And that makes me very happy, right? Because that is something that they've been missing, honestly, ever since we saw them at MSI. It was there in the LCK finals, and then it started at MSI, and it just became worse during summer. I think the first couple of weeks, they really were floundering, and it just feels nice to see Damwon Kia back to playing like this.
Yeah, back to you know what we expected from them, right? A lot of their mistakes that they were making, we sort of knew that they didn't have to do. You know,
I can't get over the 0-0-0 on Showmaker. It's like he's just there.
No, he just wants to make sure that Canyon gets to 1,000 points. You know, they're all cheerleaders, exactly.
I mean, who else are you going to vote for right now? You can't. You can't vote for anyone else.
I mean, Ghost has got a lot of farm.
Yeah?
the most in the game.
Him and Barrow played the early game really nice, but who was the one that actually kicked it out?
Canyon. That was definitely Canyon. But Damwon Kia still need to win the game. And as you saw in the gold graph, things have been dissipating just a little bit. And we have to remember that Rascal is still absolutely massive. Every single kill that Gen G have got has been because they subbed Rascal in. Yes. So if there's ever a time when you're like, that was a pretty good sub, I think it'd be about now. Really nicely done from Rascal. Of course, the rest of the team setting up for him, allowing him to get into positions where he can get those. But still, being able to use the resources given is still very important. It's Showmaker! Yeah, he's on the board now, as now Clid's in trouble. Might have to use that Crescent Guard, but he's going to hold on to it for the moment. As Damwon Kia are going to continue the siege. Oh man, LeBlanc really proving herself as a poke champion right here, as Showmaker just says no to the Varus. And this is what happens when you don't have something like, you know, the Tahm or the Thresh there to get him out of that position. Sort of a sitting duck, as the inner turret is going to fall. That's all the inners now down. 7 turrets to 2 in favor of Damwon Kia. That's why they have this 6,000 gold lead.
And over the course of this best of 3, right, like, I don't know how many they got in the first game, but it must have been something similar, of course, also with the next turret. Like, it's going to be so overwhelmingly large. Yeah, solo bolo.
Yeah,
just gets him while everyone is looking. Yeah. Just standing there. And as you point out, you can't really do anything. And this is a problem that you do run into as the Varus when you're playing on the back foot. Your position needs to be immaculate, and Ruler hasn't had the best players. Rascal.
Yeah, okay. Showmaker got what he wanted, which was the blue buff.
Oh, they're committing to another fight. It is a 5k deficit here, Atlas, but
dangerous times.
Rascal. You know?
Kia actually might give this one up. Remember, it's only soul point. They could just trade it for a Baron if they want to. It's full investment of everyone on Gen G's side. We've got a full minion wave moving towards this inhibitor turret. Now Showmaker's just playing goalie for the rest of his team. Remember, the Ashe has a lot of damage available to her. The Rage Blade has been completed, and Showmaker continuing just to keep poking out onto Gen G.
Let us flash.
Yeah, can Clid actually get over though is the question. As in goes Canyon, gets the kickback, flashes on forward, gets the smite, is now Rascal dives on over. Goes Golden as well as Life, not going to get chained this time as BDD finds a big Emperor's Divide, goes Golden to avoid the death from Ghost as well, as now getting zoned away. The Gnar will fall down, but Azir will fall as well as Ghost. He's going to get heartbroken on, and he will get taken down, looking for life, and he will pick that one up. My god, Ghost is massive, trying to get this one against Rascal, but now it's Rascal who is the Ashe, and he will be able to finish off the kill. It is a 4 for 2 though, as once again, Damwon Kia trade down massively for the Baron.
Oh, Damwon Kia's Baron power plays are generally not great. They're not really coming together.
Not real good, yeah.
But it is, this is what you always feel when you play against Gen G. It is the team fighting power that they have available. And already called Rascal a super sub. Just gonna mention that again as we see him just pop off here as well. And yeah, he gets taken down at their end there, but this play from Ghost is... seeing this man on Ashe is just a thing of beauty. And then, yeah, Rascal picks up a bunch more. And he is truly the one that...
6-1-3.
Yeah.
100% kill contribution because every single fight that has happened has been around him.
Yeah. No, it's like, when you get subbed in, this is basically the dream.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
Look at what Canyon has done for his bottom lane as well. This gold is like exactly how Damwon played the early game, which was Canyon going down bottom lane and making sure Ruler and Life's life is hell. And yeah, I'd say mission accomplished.
Rascal is only ahead because of the 6 kills, right? And like he got a lead just now. He's been behind.
Yeah, he's only barely ahead.
It's not a good place to be. However, it also shows us the one thing that you have on playing against Gen G, especially now that BDD is approaching a 3rd item on his Azir. Rascal is absolutely huge. Is that somehow, sometimes they still find these amazing team fight wins. You need to deny Rascal. If you can blow him up, game's like that's it. Game is won. BDD alone doesn't have enough damage, and Ruler is a non-factor. But that's the one thing you need to play around as Dumb Kia. As long as you get rid of that, you know, you have shoving waves, you still have the Baron buff for another 30 seconds, and it is another negative Baron power play. It's 1k gold this time.
Yeah, well, they still have 25 seconds to make up that 1,000 gold.
I mean, only Showmaker is Baron buff, because 4
yeah,
died.
exactly.
So
And he's
there's
also
not
at
that
half health now as well, so
not that much value.
not really working out.
No.
So you're right, it moves down to about a 4,000 gold lead. And we're going to see this Drake pop up as well. And once again, it's Gen.G with Soul Point looking for this mountain, and they're in a much better position to utilize it this time. It won't be take the Drake and lose the game unless they get aced at the same time. But we've seen that team fights have certainly been a lot better than in Game 1.
It's still possible.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
I'm afraid to mention it, but still something that is definitely on the table for Gen.G. But as you point out, unlike last game, this one still feels within grasp, which is crazy to say considering how well Dumb Kia played the early game. But with Rascal as fat as he is, Ruler now able to hit his third item power spike, which is actually a huge one. Picking up the Muramana is going to give you, hopefully, a lot more pressure when it comes to these kind of stalemate scenario, especially when combined with a Nazir that is on 3.5 items. But the real man that needs to be unlocked is Rascal. If you can get this Mountain Soul, or you can win a subsequent team fight as Gen.G, you can shove in hard, you can retake control of this game. But walking into the fog against Dumb Kia is incredibly tough. They do know where Showmaker is. Plenty of wards available.
Yeah.
Also just push.
Yeah, they are just going to be able to grab this inner turret by the looks of things. It's a huge wave that they have, and now Showmaker trying to dive in from the back. Gets a lot of damage onto Life. Life doesn't really worry about that one too much, right? Kills happen around him, he's going to have that health bar all the way back up against Subjugate, so powerful as well. Piercing arrow, not exactly doing that much gold as Beryl. Walking around, wanting to stay in position to get that devour on whoever needs it. And the arrow being held onto for the moment. This Drake now up in 5 seconds time. Small poke come through from Showmaker, now slinks back into the bushes. Someone, can they win a team fight? That is the question. They haven't really been able to in a 5v5 so far this game.
Khan
is all going to go down to this. Yeah, Khan, he's got a massive Narvar as well. The 4-man Gnarl, though BDD does manage to go gold, and that's a 4-man wallop, though. You'll take that. Empress Divide onto 2, and the team fighting still good out of Gen.G. BDD going to go down as Showmaker locks up that kill. As Canyon looking to get on top of his LeBlanc. They've taken down the Ashe, though, and he cheers so much of Dumb Kia's consistent damage. Now Showmaker looking for Rascal. The chain's not going to connect.
That's a soul!
Yeah, they are going to just dive right on top of this one. They sacrifice BDD, but they will be able to get the Mountain Soul.
That is such a big win for Gen.G, because, as you pointed out, the one thing that you can't really afford as Dumb Kia is giving up this soul, because look at their damage profile. Like, especially when Ashe dies, you don't have the damage available.
Yeah.
And I see this now, and I'm like, this is over, right? Like, it's just immediately done. But then, this change of corruption from Ruler is so big, because it prevents the entirety, and then BDD shuffle.
The Ashe delivery was just beautiful.
And then Rascal's like, hey, remember me? Get some resets, and
this gold lead is just shrinking and shrinking and shrinking.
This is the most Gen.G. Like, Rascal's sub deck, and immediately is like, Azir mid lane, 40-minute team fights, let's get back into it, Gen.G. And honestly, yeah, it is not maybe the change up that you do want to see, but we do see why Gen.G do it. It's because they're so damn good at it, right? Like, these team fights, incredible. Ruler also going from a complete non-factor to somehow able to catch up in CS, had the most damage done in that previous team fight, somehow. Don't know how he did it, but he had like 5.5k damage done by the end of it. And now as a Mountain Soul, so pop off potential from Showmaker, mitigated. Damage without Ghost, not going to be able to get through these really big beefy hell bars from Gen.G.
Yeah, I mean, Ashe not necessarily a huge late game damage dealer, especially with this build. Does now have Lord Dominic's, of course, which is going to help, but not quite that much. As now, 4 minutes on Elder. We've got Baron available as BDD has found Showmaker, or is it the other way around as the Ashe is going to be able to pick up the kill on the Azir with, I believe, an arrow from downtown. As now without BDD, Gen.G are going to have so much trouble for the next 50 seconds.
And no teleport available. BDD was the one who actually teleported into that enemy bot side jungle. Showmaker has gone back.
Cleared now, possibly in trouble. That's a Gnar into the wall onto only one target, but it might just be enough. Yeah, Canyon picks that one up, and Gen.G are falling apart. Life as well, caught in the river once again. A barrel just dives on top of him, and now Rascal has no friends and no chance of the pop-off team fight as he heartbreaks, and obviously it feels heartbreaking. As Gen.G will have to just give this one up. It might be inhibitor into Baron, but Damwon can do whatever they want. That was a weird hop there, Khan, but I liked the idea. As Damwon, yeah, they're going to get to work on structures. They don't really care about neutral objectives so far this series. It's all been about taking as many turrets as possible. They'll grab this inhibitor and then grab themselves a Baron. Or at least try to.
Yeah.
These death timers are timing out. Damwon certainly take their time, so maybe an opportunity for Gen.G.
No, Gen.G, they can't walk up, right?
Yeah,
Like, the problem is, if they have perfect vision...
Arrow going to sail by.
If they have perfect vision, maybe you can go in and try to somehow make something work with BDD there as well, but you don't. You can't face check. We saw what happened when BDD tries to go in there, and this is such a...
This is Baron number 3 as well, as we can check this one out from Showmaker's perspective.
BDD has stopwatch there, right? Like, he has a stopwatch and the flash available. Like, I don't think he expected that amount of damage to come through. Then Cleared, yeah, walking up here that far, can't even use his ultimate, just gets 100-0 with a really nice CC chain between Khan and Canyon. And then it's just the mobility and the catch potential that is available for Damwon is horrible to deal with. Life just gets hand-delivered by Barrel. Good guy Barrel, you know, wanting to make sure that the entirety of his team is well fed. That's a Baron buff. First positive gold Baron power play coming up here for Damwon, Adler.
That time's a charm, Chronicler. That's how we like to get it done. Here in the LCK, slow and steady. Still, I mean, we're not back to the gold lead that Damwon had, what, like 20 minutes ago?
No.
Where they got up to about 6,000 or 7,000. Damwon still needing to respect the teamfight power of this Gen.G roster, but with the inhibitor down in mid lane, with this inhibitor exposed in the bottom lane, Damwon now with so much vision control around this area as well as Canyon will take a lot of damage here from Rascal. Rascal is still a huge deal. He's 5 items right now, level 18, of course. Showmaker as well, almost putting together his very cool hat alongside his cane, his timepiece. He's a dapper LeBlanc at this point in the game. 2-0-2 from the 0-0-0 he was before. Not going to find that chain onto Rascal though, as we can see. Is Damwon still struggling to close in on Gen.G. They're giving them a lot of respect. Even though they do have this Baron buff. Went for that reset, as you can see. As Ghost making his way back through one more time. Recurve bow now in his back pocket. 5.5 items on the Ashe.
Yeah, that's
no, that feels bad.
Yeah.
I'd say that at least he got the experience, but he's level 18.
It's... I was going to say it's something, but it's actually not. It actually is nothing.
It is nothing.
Oh, there he goes again.
Yeah, pops over the wall, looks for Clid with a bit of poke damage. Gen.G just staying his 5. That's another distort forward. It's Showmaker gonna have to flash to get himself out of the way, and he is popped by the piercing arrow. Chains of Corruption are not going to find Canyon, but now without Showmaker for a whole minute, it's going to be so dangerous. And Elder Drake, they have to fight over it. Without their LeBlanc, this is so dangerous. The rest of Damwon desperately trying to get them out of this area. Q will connect onto life, but I think that Damwon are gonna have to give this one up and try and fight elsewhere, but this is Elder Drake, it's so dangerous!
You're gonna have to force, try and go for the ends. The back's now starting to come through. You need this Drake. As Gen.G, you can't give it up, but you also can't give up your Nexus. Teleport coming through.
Yeah, Viego gonna teleport back and try and defend the Nexus. As Khan and Ghost, they manage to take down one Nexus turret. Rascal not going to be able to get out of this one, I don't think, as he gets into the mist, but eventually will be taken down to that GA. The last Nexus turret will be taken down. The bats are starting to come through. Can Ghost actually lock down this Nexus? He's flashing to try and get on top of it, but he will be taken out. And now Gen G should be able to try and take down this Nexus, but there's still a lot of turrets, and also the minion wave is so far away.
I don't even know if
This game is not over. This is not over yet.
Oh, God. Yep, that is a classic Gen G LCK game that we got on our hands here, Atlas, because they just find a way. And some context behind that Showmaker play. I think that if you don't try and look for those picks as Damokia, I don't think that you really have a reliable way to win straight up 5v5s. And that is what we've seen this entire game. If you woke up 5 versus 5 in the river, it's not going to work because you don't really have the engage. You have a lot of mobility and power, but of course it's Rascal that does it. Right, like the amount of damage done here, and then
piercing arrow just
the
at the very end.
Piercing arrow from get this man tilt proof on our after game phases. Yeah, then you're trying to make a 4v5 work somehow, and I love this call.
This is actually the best call that Damokia could have made.
100%. 100%. This is the only call. The only thing that maybe in hindsight you send barrel there, right? Like 1 or 2 extra Aldos, and you might make it. But that's hindsight's 2020, because if you do send barrel away, then Canyon can't stall. And the reason why it takes so long for reinforcements to arrive is that barrel and Canyon are doing this. So it's this cancel is so big, right? Like if the teleport here is actually used on the minion, this is even close. So this is also the minions had only just recently spawned, so maybe BDD didn't have that option when he was deciding to go for it. It's like, again, like this is split second, right? It's really easy, like, oh, why would you teleport to the turret? But man, that like damage. 2 or 3 autos away from a dead Nexus. Yep. And it still could be. And Elder's gone. So it was completely mitigated. Inhibitor respawned in the mid lane, as well as we've got 5 seconds on the next Baron. That will be the 4th of the game, by the way. As Dragons certainly have gone to Gen G, but everything on the other side of the map has all been Damwon Kia. But I have a feeling that if Gen G ever get a Baron, this game is so close to just over. But their siege power is so much better than Damwon's. Okay, they get Baron and then their Nexus gets taken down. Oh, that's true. That would be a difficult thing. And I joke about this, and this is the thing I like about what Gen G is doing here. Oh, he's not able to see that ward. No. Yeah, but Rascal doesn't know, but he does have help, so he should not walk off. Oh, I love this. Oh my god, this is so clean from Damokia. Yeah, we're going for a Baron on one side, and Showmaker still lying in that brush. Yep, cleared. Should be able to make this one a 50-50 unless he gets kicked out of the pit, and you can see that Damwon, they don't want to go for it. They just want to try and take down this inhibitor and threaten the open Nexus. As we can see immediately, the teleport is used to come back, and now Damwon Kia can get back onto this Baron that is still aggroed, by the way. Canyon going to get the kickback one more time. Baron is going to be secured. Beautifully played here by Damwon. Is now cleared. Will be able to take down the Tahm Kench, and Damwon just need to get out of here. That's all they need to do. And the heist will be successful. The chains connect as Rascal is taken down by Showmaker. It's 1,000 gold, but who cares about the gold? At this stage of the game, that pick was all they needed. And now, as Gen G, you've lost Rascal, your strongest, most valuable member. The Baron buff goes over to Damwon Kia, and what a beautiful trap being set up there from Damwon, right? Like, on one end, they're still the one with map control. Gen G can't leave their base because of how exposed it is and their complete lack of structures. That means that Damwon Kia finds a way to evade vision, send 2 people towards that brush, then draw BDD immediately away. And I want to say, how did they keep the leash on that Baron there? Because you saw Gen G had no clue. They fought and reset it. And if you get the Baron, or if they don't get the Baron rather, it's fine. Well, that's a huge kick out as they try to get the coordination rule of device for so long, but not long enough. Canyon secures it in the end. Life as well. He's burning down the flash forward from Khan is now BDD looking for the execution.
execution, but he's not going to find it. He goes golden. That just buys some time. The two-man Nah and Damwon Kia have had enough of this game. It's 48 minutes in, and they will get the 2-0 over Gen G. As Rascal, he's going to respawn, but he's immediately going to go back to a black and white screen. And Damwon Kia will complete the ace. Once again, they fight against a Mountain Soul, and once again they are victorious. But what a series! Just so beautifully played by Damwon cerebrally at the end of that one. Gen G fought back with everything. After a 7,000 gold deficit at 20 minutes, that all but evaporated, and then Damwon had to outthink them and outplay them for the rest of the game.
Beautiful play coming through here from Damwon Kia. I think with that composition, especially if you make one or two missteps,
range and setting up those picks. But it looks like now Top Esports trying to get control of mid once again.
Trying to get control of mid, but also just gaining a lot more utility.